She sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolinas. Sticky finger culture from Berlin down to Belize. Take you for a ride on a locomotive China. Tell me where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego
Adventure of neighborhood training. This week we're going to look into where in the world is Morris Williams Farm. Just kind of an offshoot of some of the things we used to hear in the department, and probably still do, where rescue districts and fire districts and still alarm districts used to be set up on landmarks within Falmouth. We didn't have the wonderful world of GIS like we have now, so they had to have some way to go about defining where we were going to go and who was going to go where. And there are places, Turpentine Valley, Sun Junction, Morris Williams Farm, all these different landmarks that would delineate the area. So we probably don't hear it too much anymore, but a few years ago you said, where the heck is Morris Williams Farm, or where the heck is Sun Junction? And well, anyway, this is Morris Williams Farm, and it's at the juncture of Hatchville and Turner Road. And basically what I'm going to turn this into is just to wrap up the Hatchville neighborhood area. If you remember, we started way down the eastern end of 151 and worked our way down 151 to Ballymead, and we did some things in Hatchville, and I just wanted to wrap up some of the areas in Hatchville. So, while we were still talking about it, while we're still in that general area, we wanted to just kind of wrap up some little odds and ends. This here is that's Morris Williams Farm. You see it as you drive by. I think now they call it Crooked Pond Farm. Trees and all that. It looks like it's got some nice acreage there. Anyway, so as you're driving by, that's what we're looking at there. Just a quick mention about response times. This area here, in the Hatchville area, the 308 Hatchville, which is the Crooked Pond Farm. So Station 3 is 3.5 miles, and Station 5 just about the same, roughly. And so we're looking at approximately, by the time we get the call and do our turnout and actually get to the scene, probably 8 minutes. Station 4, we're looking at 4.2 miles, probably a 10-minute response, maybe a little longer. Got to go a lot of the back roads. And Station 1 is 5.8 miles, which we're looking at probably a 10-minute plus response. Headquarters can go right up Sandwich Road and then down Hatchville. So, but we're still looking at a 10+ minute response time. The little bit of difference is that before, when we were talking about Ballymead, or we were talking about Schumann Valley, we were talking about Station 3 or 5 getting there before, much before their second due apparatus. Here we're actually 3 trucks, 3 engines are probably going to arrive simultaneously. Although we are outside that 4 to 6 minute response area that we'd like to have. And also we look here at this map here, which shows the response districts for fire, and this area here does kind of terminate quite a few districts into one, and since about 3 of the stations can probably arrive there about the same time, a lot of these lines, although we draw these lines hard and fast, there are some conditions that probably the units will arrive just about this simultaneously. It's kind of a juncture of different districts. But you see over here the west in North Falmouth response districts, kind of right at the Blacksmith Shop Road area here where we bring West Falmouth in as first due on like a still or a fire. And as we go up into this area here, you see Shady Lane is actually in the North Falmouth. All of this area up here is obviously 23 would be first due, but depends who is going to be second due. And this area here is Station 5 East Falmouth would be second due into this area over here, and down below here we're actually East Falmouth and headquarters. But the districts actually break off for the fire anyway, right around Jigette Road and Shady Lane area. Obviously everybody knows that we send 3 engines so everybody get there at the same time on a still district. Because headquarters can come down Sandwich Road, we bring them in into this area before North Falmouth, even though they probably all arrived there at the same time. We look briefly at the rescue districts and the advent of the ambulance in North Falmouth a few years ago changed some of our boundary lines just a little bit, but not too much. As you see here, the rescue district cuts off right here at Jigette Road and Shady Lane for the North Falmouth and East Falmouth. This Hatchville. The Hatchville neighborhood, and just kind of wrap that area up, and the odds and ends little roads that are in that area. And as you see, many of you I'm sure are familiar with the Hatchville neighborhood, and as we've talked about with many other developments, it's all single-family dwellings, wood frame, capes and ranches by and large, 1,000 to probably 1,500 square feet. The area has been hydrants all over the place within the past 10 or 15 years, so you know, we don't have to worry about hydrants. The pressure in some of the flatter areas is good. As I mentioned in Ballymead, it is up and down. And I kind of tried to organize this in you know, some ways to kind of break it out a little bit. But one area we will spend some time in today is the Spectacle Pond neighborhood of Falmouth and of Hatchville. You know, you see, it's about 50 houses, about 120 residents, roughly thereabouts. And the roads within that are obviously Spectacle Pond Road is the main road going in, and then we break off into the side roads. Ivest Drive, I believe that's on the right-hand side as you go down, and that culminates into Ivest Circle. Wildwood, I believe, is on the left. We'll see in a minute. And Twin Oaks is further down on the right. Charmaine as well. And Blackthorn, I believe, is on the left. And at the end of then we have Wheelhouse Circle, which is off of Sam Turner, not in the Spectacle Pond neighborhood. These are all separate roads off of Sam Turner. Wheelhouse, East Ridge, which is a new development made up. Brayburn Court, it's a semicircular development in about 18 houses. Esker Place is at the end up towards Route 151. And we'll also talk about where Sam Turner ends and Turner Road begins. In Turner Road, we have Shady Lane, Common Way, Solar Way, Little John, and Hidden Pond. Actually, Solar is actually got some sawhorses in the way, so it's kind of blocked off from being an access road. And we'll also take a look at some of these other smaller roads. This is we'll take a look at Williams Hollow Road We recently had a couple of brush fires down there, but it's a dirt road on Turner on the left as you're heading up towards 151. And there are a few year-round houses in there. It's an old camp road, so it's a really narrow, and we'll have to look and see whether they got hydrants in there or not. I believe that they do because of the plume from the base. Chute Lane is much more of an old camp road than Williams Hollow Road is. There's a couple of really old small camps in there. Deep Pond Road on the right, just as you come from the split to Hatchville and Turner, down the hill by the little S curve there. And it's kind of a narrow road. It is paved, but it is narrow and it's tough to get around in there. So if we're bringing the ladder truck in there, or one of the, like 21 in there, it might be a little tough to navigate. So those are ones off of Sam Turner and Turner, and we'll just take a slide over to Hatchville Road, which starts out by the Jewish Congregational Church and comes down. Whoops! What do we do? We move this. This isn't supposed to be here. We'll just get rid of that. Whoop. Boom, boom. Okay. As we come in from the Jewish Congregational Church, Hunky Dory Farm Road, Adamancet, we'll look at Adamancet, the 14 houses up there. We had a fire there, I don't know how many years ago. Anyway, it seems like yesterday, but it was a while ago. We had a problem with a propane tank up in there. It didn't really levy, but it vented pretty good and gave us a little bit of excitement for a little while. And further on down, we'd mentioned these before: Wellington Way, Raspberry Path, Dawson. I only put not Dodson because they do sound very familiar when you talk about them or when people call on the phone. So the dispatchers, this is an important thing to remember, is looking to make sure that people know where they're going. In Dawson, and not Dodson, or if they're sending them down to Warcoit, make it up. Strand Way is off Hatchville. It's very similar to Deep Pond Road. Anyway, then Ranch Road has a few houses off of 151. Cloverfield Way will show us quite a few, probably about 10 or 15 houses in there. There is one rather large horse farm in there that has a pretty good size indoor arena there, and it's one of those I don't really know what they call them. I don't think they call them hoop houses or whatever. I don't know what they call them, but it looks like a large greenhouse with the white kind of plastic covering it, and it's pretty large. I think they have an indoor arena there. Blacksmith Shop Road, Pilot's Way. The entrance way into that is called Sean's Way. There's no houses on it. That's just the name of the road. I think in the previous ones we mentioned about that being the Pond View development in there, but Sean's Way, Pilot's Way. Boxbury Hill, Theater Drive. There's no longer theater on there, just the Cape Cod Country Club. Brady Drive and Hunter's Ridge Road is down the road. Jigette Road has Silent Way off of it. Thomas Landers, we have Captain Eldridge Way right off of Sandwich. River Hill down by the Cranberry Bogs. And Sunfish Lane, which is a small dirt road across from Shallow Pond Road. And we have Shallow Pond Road. They'll show on the map this Cranston Road, but if you drive by, you'll see that it doesn't really exist. So that's just some of the areas that we're going to look at. I do want to pick up a few here. We've already looked at Morris Williams Farm, So this is just a quick picture. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this, being Coonamessett Farm. I'm sure everybody's been by there. If you haven't, stop in. I'm not going to give them an advertisement, but as you see, they got ice cream. So, and quite a few of us have been out here lately. This is the entrance to the Sousa Recreation Area that goes into Coonamessett Pond. We've had quite a few small fires up in there. Should be familiar with that. And we will look, here is the entrance to Adamancet. We've been in there a couple times for some small fires, and we'll take a look up in there. They have all separate individual addresses on Adamancet Road. This used to be an old compound-like place for a family, and so they never really had addresses, and we went through this whole rigmarole in 911. When we started all the 911 address systems, they had to change their numbers. So now they've got all different numbers up there, and they have hydrants in there. At the time we had the fire, we didn't have a hydrant system in there. And just an example of the size of some of the houses. An example of houses, there's a typical cape. We don't have to really belabor the point on that. But this is up in Spectacle Pond at the very end of Spectacle Pond Road, and I believe it's a vacant house. There's some stickers in the window and it is for sale, and so I don't know what's going on. Recently we have some different issues with vacant houses, so it's one that we keep an eye on. And head over to here, just typical ranch. A nice house. That's probably in the 1,000 square foot range. And one of the other things at that we'll look at that's off of Spectacle Pond Road is the Crooked Pond well site. We really probably won't have too much to do with it, but it's a good thing to know that it is. It's there. I believe there's probably a firebox on it. But this is the main entrance here to the facility, and just take a couple of quick shots just to go around. This is the back side. There's a LP gas grill on the back side here. So there's no real vegetation around anything. Apparently it's a filtration plant that also sends out domestic water. And they have a actual well site further in the woods, right near Crooked Pond. So if we're in there for woods fires or different issues, it's certainly out there. There seems to be a pretty good path network out there as well. And there's just an up-close shot for it. Point out that there's a Knox box right there on the gate, so we should be able to get access to this facility here. Okay. All right, that's enough for the pictures. Take a quick shot here. This is the area that we're looking at. Right in the Hatchville area. This is pretty broad. Some people throw a pretty broad net of Hatchville. We jokingly referred last week to Ballymead being in Hatchville instead of North Falmouth, but it's probably in North Falmouth. But Hatchville, with a broad net, is Ballymead, can be down to Pinecrest, can be over to Sandwich Road, can be down up way up on 151. But for generally speaking, Hatchville is centered from the Jewish Congregational Church west of Sandwich Road, all the way over to Ballymead, bounded on the north by 151, in the south probably, well, probably a little bit south of Thomas Landers Road. In that area there is Hatchville. But as we'll see, there's hydrants throughout the area, and as we fill in here on the map, we should be able to see, okay, we'll end up going around a little bit better, but here's that Deep Pond Road we were talking about off of Sam Turner. Now, Turner Road starts at Sandwich Road and comes up through the bogs. We might as well go over that network. I'm sure we're all familiar with it. But Turner Road comes in from Sandwich and comes up through the bogs here. Let's go up a little bit further here. Let's get this right in the center. Here we go. Okay, this is better. Might as well, just while we're right there, we might as well review that. Here we go. Pan out a little bit here. Okay. I'm sure we're all familiar with it. Turner Road, right off of Sandwich, across from John Parker, comes up and merges with Thomas Landers Road. Thomas B. Landers comes up here. Here's Hidden Village Road. It's, we had a fire there, bedroom fire, not this last year. Anyway, and there is no hydrants on Hidden Pond Road, as we can see here, so that's something to be aware of. We do have them up and down Turner Road, Thomas Landers, and then as we come through the bogs, we come and split off, and Thomas Landers Road goes up to the dump, and Turner Road continues on. Hatchville, you see over here, Hatchville comes in by the Jewish Congregational Church complex and comes up and then intersects up in Hatchville, and then we come up, and then we split again, where we end up going to change over to, not from Turner, we change over to Sam Turner Road, and Hatchville continues on up until it intersects with Boxbury Hill Road, and Sam Turner continues on to 151. So we have Boxbury comes in from Sandwich Road, comes in and intersects right in here with Hatchville, and then Boxbury and Turner actually continue on over to 151, and actually comes up here 151, and then this section up here is Cloverfield, and as you can see, there's quite a few houses up in there. This is the area. This 49 is the area I mentioned. There was a horse farm there, and there's this building. I didn't get a picture of it, but there's the building that I was talking about earlier. That's kind of an indoor riding arena. So hydrants all the way up into there. We've already talked about the Caravelle Drive neighborhood. Right in here is the Esker Place development up there, and that's the Esker Place up in here. And I want to mention just one thing that will show up on the Google map as we look into it here, but doesn't really show up on this map so much, is this group of houses in the up here. There's a small dirt road in by Brayburn Court and Caravelle. There's a small dirt road that runs up to 2 or 3 houses up here in the woods. Over to this area here is the golf course at Cape Cod up in Ballymead, but these houses here used to be tucked in the woods, and there's just a little teeny dirt road that goes up to them. So just be aware that these houses, 294 and 296, Sam Turner Road, are back in the woods. Now that we have this new development here is East Ridge Road right here, right across from Brayburn Court. Brayburn, as you see, it's just a half circle. And there's Wheelhouse, just goes straight in for Sam Turner. And then we get into the Spectacle Pond neighborhood, aptly named because it's right next to Spectacle Pond, which is right out there. All these different ponds. There's Deep Pond we talked about earlier in the Caravelle Drive Pondview neighborhood, and then the Crooked Pond is down here where we have the Crooked Pond well site. So we'll spend just a little bit of time because this is probably, this development here is congested. Not really congested, but it's more populated than some of the other areas. So there's Spectacle Pond running in off of Sam Turner, and our first road on the right. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here, just to with the map here, and see if we can get some of these roads to come up. Here we go, a little bit better. Okay, that's better. Okay. All right, that's better. Okay. So we come in, the first left is Wildwood, not Wellwood. Wellwood is in Ballymead, but Wildwood is the first left off of Spectacle Pond. Come down. Spectacle Pond, first right is Ivest Drive, then Ivest Circle. In here. Next right is Charmaine. And then we have... that's Blackthorn coming down here. Let's see. Let's see if we can come in here. There, Twin Oaks. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Come all the way down to the end of Spectacle Pond, and we run into Twin Oaks, going left and right, and then Blackthorn. Here is that Crooked Pond well filtration site, and we can see it, you know, it's just runs down that area. Okay, so there we go. Now let's get, whoops, I don't want to do that. Let's go back out here. Hopefully we didn't lose it. Come on. Come on, get off of that. Oh, no. Rats. Okay, well, so much for that idea. We will zoom out. Let's see if we can zoom out here. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did wrong, but there we go. All right. Yeah, we're coming back into it. Okay. Oops. No. Okay. Forget it. All right. We will resume to Google Earth. All right. All right. Now this is what we were talking about earlier. There's a Spectacle Pond neighborhood right in there, and there's the well site building that we see there, and as you see, there's a big dirt road that runs down. This here is the actual well site right in the middle of all the woods there. So just to know that it exists while we're up there, and while we're looking, I just want to take a quick run up and show you. Yeah, okay, these are what I was talking before about, these houses that are off in the woods there. The people are called the Woodings. I know the lady that lives up in there, and so the Woodings live up here. And there's Esker Place, and I just wanted to show you on this map here, when I was talking about that indoor riding ring and how large it is compared to the other structures. There it is right there, and this is a regular size house right here, okay, and here's the size of the arena. So it's a pretty good size complex. So just to be aware of it all. That's the Crane Wildlife, and we will, okay, we'll go back down here a little bit. Let's go down. We already did part of Boxbury Hill Road. Right here, Boxbury Hill. This here is Brady Drive. And here is the intersection of Hatchville and Boxbury Hill Road, right over here. And this is that Hunter's Ridge. Nope, here is Hunter's Ridge over here. Hunter's Ridge development is over here. I don't think this over here is really development. Looks like a bunch of houses in there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here, if it'll show me the road here. No, it looks like, well, I'm curious. Let's be a little curious here. Let's be inquisitive here, find out what we're doing. Make sure I have the roads clicked on here. Okay. Hunter's Ridge. Nope, it must just be a. Yep, looks like there is a bunch of houses there, but I'll have to go out and investigate that and get back to you on it. But it does look like there's a bunch of houses there, but with no road name. All right, enough of that. Okay. So Hunter's Ridge, and there's Ranch Road running up 151, 2 or 3 houses along there. And as we run down, there's a condo development right up here. It's just one condo building. And here's where I mentioned a while ago, Coonamessett Pond, and also this town-owned beach over here. So there we go. And then good old Theater Drive, right up in there. And see, we get back up. Okay, that's not quite where we want to be. That's Sandwich Road, Fox Run, which we'll run over another time. Okay, I wanted to come in off of Sandwich Road and come down Hatchville. This left here is Hunky Dory Farm Road, right here on the left. And then here's where we wanted to be. We wanted to be up in Adamansett. And this is what I wanted to show you, that Adamansett Road comes in off of Hatchville, and then it branches off. Doesn't show it up here, but it switches, goes in and branches off. And the house numbers, I believe up here, they're like 5, 10, 15, and then they go up over to here to 134, I believe, way up in here. So, you know, these houses right in here in this little cove are pretty close together, but when you run up this road here up into the last house way up here, it's quite a ways. I believe it's like 137 or something like that, Adamansett Road. There's a couple of cottages along the edge. So, and this is all the Sousa Recreation Area that we were mentioning earlier. And let's see. Okay. Just want to come back up and quickly hit on Coonamessett Farm. Okay, Coonamessett Farm, right in the center there. And across from Coonamessett Farm, Shady Lane that runs in. We're right on the pond up here, and they do have a pond access right up here. I don't know, it's probably good enough to put the Zodiac into, but and up here is the Morris Williams Farm right up there. All right, and then we have you go to Jigette Road running through here. Up in here is Silent Way. A few houses up in the end there of Silent Way and Jigette. And this is all town-owned, sand pit, forest land right up in there. And just wanted to quickly go over this, that this is Shallow Pond Lane up in here. And then we have Blacksmith Shop coming in off of Thomas Landers. and run into, this is Sean's Way runs into Pilot's Way. These are all single-family houses in here. These houses on the end here are duplex units. Oh, there we go. Wanted to zoom in here. These buildings here that obviously look larger than the rest of the houses there are 2 duplexes. So, get out of here. All right. Get out of here. Get out of here. Where do you come from? Ooh, surprise, surprise. What's Deputy Rogers been looking at? All right. Don't belabor that too much. I think we've covered everything that we wanted to run into. Here is that Sunfish Lane I was talking about. It's a little dirt road that runs in. There's couple cabins right in here. There's a larger like Cape house right up in here, and then as we run all the way up here, there's a couple of more houses being built. But there's one like old cottage style house, and now there's a more larger house being built right up here in this corner. And here is that area I was mentioning before, Cranston Lane, but it's all closed in. And I don't think I mentioned yet Common Way, which runs in. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. Nope, zoom in. There we go. All right, and this is that Common Way. Here's Jaget coming out, Jaget and Shady, and here is Common Way comes in and loops around. This is Solar Way, but Solar Way is blocked off with some sawhorses and stuff like that. So that's closed off, and this is all the Sousa recreation area beyond that. And I think that we have covered everything that we want to cover without going into too much. So that, my friends, is the Hatchville neighborhood in a nutshell, and thank you for listening to Where in the World is Morris Williams Farm. Let's stay safe and